episode of Commercial Property Roadshow. You're here with Helen Tarrant, and today I'm going to talk about the 3 major areas to invest in commercial real estate in 2023. Now, I know you watched it because we've got that amazing title, but what I'm not going to do is name you 3 suburbs areas, because I could easily say it could be Gympie, it could be Melbourne, it could be Adelaide, I could say it could be Elgate in Adelaide, or it could be the Northern Beaches in Sydney. But when I say that, a lot of people are going to watch this YouTube video and go there, and then the yields are going to disappear and the returns are going to disappear. So therefore, when you go there and you watch this video, it might be 2 weeks from now, it might be 4 weeks from now, you might go, well, you know what, it's not as great, right? She promised a 7% yield here and I didn't get it. She promised a 6% yield here in Metro and I didn't get it, and you're going to get disappointed. But what I'm going to share with you is the 3 key things to look at when you are investing into an area in commercial property, which is going to put you ahead of the market and they become the best buys. And that changes all the time. So I'll give you a prime example. We were in Sunshine Coast, areas of the Sunshine Coast, in Noosa, to Wanton, to Rana. We were in different parts in Kawana, in the Sunshine Coast, probably in 2018, 2019, 2020. Sorry, for 2020, not 2020, before COVID happened. And then during COVID, it compressed. We actually then pulled out of the market and we're looking at going back into the market. It's because the yields change, go up and down, right? We're out of the Gold Coast market for a little while and gone back in. So areas change. And so this is why the 3 key things is more important to look at when you're investing in commercial real estate than just names and tops of your heads, right? Because that is, you're looking for the shortcut method, right? That is not teaching you how to fish. It is showing where the fish is, and you eat once or maybe not at all if you miss the boat, and you actually don't get any benefit. What I'm trying to do as part of Unicorn and Helen Tarrant is that we want to teach you how to fish, because commercial property is not just about once or, it's about building out the portfolio in the future. So number 1 key thing to look at in any commercial property purchase is diminishing yields. Diminishing yields. What does that mean? It means if you monitored the auction, monitored the for sale signs in the area with the agents and auctions or EOIs or whatever, you monitored that, and you monitored listings, you monitored the previous auctions. One of the things that you need to look at is the returns coming down. That means the value of the property is going up. It's very counterintuitive. But what does that mean? It means that, say that at the beginning of the year, let's say in 2023, January 2023, the property in that market is yielding 7% yield. So $70,000 as the net rent. The purchase price is $1 million. Now, the purchase price is no longer $1 million. 70,000 now might have compressed to 6.5. So it might be 1.15 million or 1.1 million, right? If you see that over time, as you monitor it, say over a 3-month period, you will know that the value continues to grow up. There is that demand in that market, right? And what that means for you is that there is going to be potentially cash flow, but also the demand to be able to sell. The prices will maintain and continue to move up. That's one of the key fundamental things about commercial property, is monitoring the diminishing return. Now, it does take a lot of time, it does take a lot of work, right? And all good buyers agents should be doing that out there. If they're not very good at it, right? But you should be monitoring different areas. And I know that you can't monitor them across Australia like we do because we have a massive team, but you can certainly look at certain areas that you choose, right? And you can monitor for 3 months. If it doesn't change, then move on to a different area. And there's all sorts of little pockets all around New South Wales, Victoria, Sydney, Melbourne, Adelaide, ACT, like we just monitor small pockets, right? And there might be a few suburbs around there that changes, and then it moves on to the next suburb. As it max out to a point where people aren't willing to pay any more for it, it goes on to the next flow on suburb or town, and so on and so forth, right? That's the number 1 thing, right? The number 2 thing to look at is a flow-on effect, right? Flow-on effect. And this is can be quite interesting because most people don't know this. So when we decided to go into certain areas, we look at the flow-on effect, right? Let's say you're looking at Victoria, chase the Great Ocean Road, we've gone through from Geelong, we're into Kilkee, we go along and we go, Port Fairy, and then we go Portland, right? Portland's the last stop before we go over to South Australia. If you follow that and you watch how the booms of the different areas work, you kind of can work out what the next town is. And that's how we help our clients to position what the next hotspot is we follow the trajectory of all of the towns that have boomed. We follow the trajectory as the compressing yields have gone and where everyone else has gone or haven't gone, and we try to stay one person ahead, like one town ahead, right? The other option to think about, if you can't monitor that trajectory or that flow, is to look at infrastructure that's happening in different towns. So for example, right now, obviously everyone knows that Townsville's got lots of new things, but what is the next town that's receiving a lot of new infrastructure, a lot of government projects, a lot of the big mining projects, a lot of the big agricultural projects, any international projects coming up, right? What is the next town that's going to have a huge amount of population boom, or there's a movement of population, right? For example, no one anticipated that the population movement of Maitland was going to be the highest in all of New South Wales, like over 10% during COVID. But the thing is, what drove that was that people found it too expensive to invest or buy in Newcastle. There was, within 20 to half an hour, you can still get to Newcastle by living in Maitland. You were halving your cost. Plus, Maitland had a new hospital that just broke ground, a couple of new shopping centers that was coming in. That gave it the push, right? So that's what you're looking for. You're looking at the big town and go, oh, maybe that's too expensive. What is the next flow on town from it? What is the next thing? Where's the infrastructure going? Where's my projects that are the big projects? And I'm not talking about house and land developments. I'm not talking about school development. I'm saying, what is a big project? So let's say if there's a big mining project, where is that going to? Where's their head office going to? When Amazon came in, that transformed Dandenong, right? Not that part of Dandenong, but Dandenong South where it went, right? It became a logistic hub, right? Look for those things. Those things are meant that there's a flow on and means that you can buy earlier into the area. You can bank earlier on. You know the rents are going to go up over time in a very short space of time as these big players come in. A classic example was around Bandamba in Ipswich, where the Costco was taking 60,000 square meters to build a new Costco site. Now that site was a raw site, but there were sites being sold all around it that inherently will have all supporting businesses. The rents will continue to go up and you'll get the stability in time as well. So that's the type of key things you need to look for, right? And those are more important than naming a suburb, because they literally happen all around Australia. It could be somewhere near you, right? There are areas in Adelaide, there's areas in Sydney, there's areas outside of Sydney, there's areas outside of Melbourne that are going through this. And if you know and you study it, you don't need me to name this area. You can find it yourself. And that is better than trying to compete with everyone else in the market. It's not about red oceans, it's about finding your blue ocean. And then finally, number three, what to look for when you are choosing the area to invest in is I want you to look at the rents, but the demographics combined with the vacancy rate as it turned. It's not so much about vacancy now, right? It's about what vacancy was 12, 24, 36 months ago. Has it compressed, right? If people say, oh, look, we still can't invest in office space because office space is just like, people working from home is not working. But if you look at what's happened in the last 12 months, office space vacancy have actually halved in both Melbourne, Sydney, and Brisbane. So that means that there is the uptake of office spaces. On top of that, you're also getting the rent per square meter. If you study it, the last 6 months, there's been a turn in the rent per square meter, just simply because they've been so smashed during COVID. The rents have to go up, and they're starting to go up. As the vacancy have come down, the rents have gone up, and it's gone up by $50 a square meter, $100 a square meter every time we read tenants. What that means for you is that if you get in now, over the next 12 to 24 to 36 months, you're going to have an upside as the rents go up. The value will flow on. You'll have a minimization of vacancy in the market just because of what's happening naturally in the market, which means that the security of your asset actually becomes more secure. You can buy in something that has risk now, but over time, just because of what's happening in the market, becomes more and more secure so that it becomes more blue chip as you own it. My big philosophy in what I teach, in what I do, is to choose a good property and make it great by teaching you how to make it great in the time you own it. So those three key things are really, really important. Rather than me naming, oh yeah, these are the areas you should go to, look for those three key things. Look for areas that have compressing yield over time, that have done compressed in the last 3, 4, 6 months over time in each sale, each auction. Look for areas that have boomed or have the trajectory of boom as a flow on town. So chase the flow and what's next to stay ahead of the competition. But if not that, look at where infrastructure projects are coming in and how that's going to impact you, where there's additional land and things outside that you can capitalize on. And number 3, look at the vacancy compression rate, the lowering of vacancies in the area. It might be demographics moving into this, or more people moving into this area, or more people getting out of working from home from one little office. They might want to go back to a 3-person office, or even if office spaces used to be 400 square meters now become 200 square meters, there's still the take up, right? Look at the take up, look at the minimization of that vacancy, because that's about buying a good property and making it great in the time you owned it. So I hope this has given you real insights into how to buy your first commercial property, but where to look and how to find it. If you want more detailed information, check us out. Link below. You can subscribe to one of our events, subscribe to our subscription service where you get more information on commercial property, webinars, community events. So really join us and let us help you build a cash flow rich portfolio. But in the meantime, hit the bell, subscribe, and I'll see you at the next video. Bye for now.